bringing the party to you.
I like her.
I guess we're stuck together. Partners.
Yeah. Are you ready to become a hero?
There's so much you don't know.
Teach me. Oh my God!
What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
It's my last day in LA, so I thought I would just go live and see what you guys are doing. So I have something a little exciting to share with you today, I think. I don't really know what it is. I got a parcel from none.
Fun really isn't something one considers when balancing the universe. But this does put a smile on my face.
Hey everybody, we got some new Infinity War to break down, but because of the way it dropped, I have to be a little creative about how I break it down, so I had to cut this up just a little bit differently than I normally would. But they've already started dropping Easter eggs for Infinity War, and if you're a big fan of the other stuff the Russos have done, like Arrested Development and Community, there are actually some really funny Easter eggs for that in the Infinity War trailer, so I'll point them out when we get to that part. But if you are finding me for the first time, we do Marvel every week. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. There's even a ticket giveaway I'm doing at the end of the video. I'll explain. But what's happened is because they're pretty much done with the Infinity War trailer, it started to post online. So I'll just do this and try to connect the dots in terms of time frames. And because of the vignettes, it's hard to tell when these are going to take place during the movie because you have Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Vision stuff going on Earth. Then you have Guardians of the Galaxy stuff happening in a different part of space. So they're just a bunch of different groups of people. So we can guess at what the timeline is from some of these scenes, but it's not going to be 100%. Starting with the stuff based on Earth first, very clearly it's Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive coming after the Mind Gem, so they're coming after Vision, and the other Avengers that are nearby are trying to protect him. So even though they revealed what the Black Order looks like, they're calling them the Children of Thanos, which I'll explain, what they've changed from the comics in a second. But this is the actual first time that we've seen her with finished CG on screen. They'll probably polish this a little bit, but for the most part, this is what she will look like during the movie. So the spear that she wields was given to her by Thanos. It's a mythical weapon that reads a lot like the creation of Thor's hammer, just in the scope of what it can actually do. So it was created from a sun trapped in distorted space-time, and what it does is it acts like a star, a supernova, and a black hole all at the same time. When she throws it, it gives off energy arcs, but it also is able to increase its mass because remember, it acts kind of like a supernova, so it becomes super dense, and it would be like Surtur destroying Asgard with his giant Twilight sword, but in the size of this small spear. She throws it at Captain America, he catches it, but then you jump to a couple of different scenes. You see Falcon trying to fight her off. So even though there's no way that Falcon would have a chance, I think they want to give him some badass scenes. So then you jump to all those Scarlet Witch scenes looking like she's trying to protect Vision, although Vision is also one of the most powerful members, but I think he's just getting tag teamed by Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive, who may have the same implied relationship that they do in the comics. In the comics, they're husband and wife, but in the movie universe, they're the children of Thanos, so it's kind of a weird situation. But if they're going to do the Scarlet Witch Vision relationship thing, which I'll talk about in a separate video, then they might as well tease some Corvus Glaive Proxima Midnight relationship. But like you see Vision here behind these bars, the entrance to the subway, looking like he's kind of relieved, like, oh my god, I just survived that. It's possible that because of the way Scarlet Witch is looking at him, they are able to fight them off and Thanos doesn't get the gem that way. Because it does sound like Vision will make it to Avengers 4, and they're doing this really weird thing with their children from the comics, but that's all still speculation based on some casting announcements they've made for Avengers 4. So Vision is still status pending, but I think he will survive to the next phase of Marvel movies in some form or another. But then you get the crowd shot of Black Widow, Falcon, and Captain America, which actually looks like when the Black Order first arrives, like they're watching them land in their ship like, holy shit, here we go. So it's before all these big fight scenes. But even though Scarlet Witch is destroying a whole bunch of property here, I think the idea is that as the movies have gotten on, their powers have grown. Like the powers of the Infinity Gems are limitless or near limitless, and they've only begun to tap them as of Captain America Civil War. And like you saw her throw down and smash Vision through all those floors, imagine how much more powerful she is by the time we get to Infinity War. But then all of the other scenes are Guardians of the Galaxy specific scenes set in the Collector's fortress, where Thanos has taken down the Collector and is trying to find the Reality Stone. And he's trying to tell him, I sold it to someone else. I don't know where it is. I don't have it. But you can kind of see this motion capture foot on his chest. So obviously they haven't completely finished this yet. But as awesome and WTF as this is, they also work a lot of comedic scenes into this too, like Peter Quill trying to be all ninja, and then you see Mantis like just shuffling by as quietly as possible. Drax totally ready to botch the mission and try to go after Thanos. Now is when I seek my revenge for the death of my family. That's actually a deep cut from the comics. They mentioned it during the first Guardians movie, but he just had this long-standing hatred of Thanos and had been seeking revenge ever since he had come to Drax's planet and killed his family in a big assault. So if they don't pay that moment off here, there will be some other moment during Infinity War where they let them face off. But I think the idea is that Thanos is so powerful that he will roll into Avengers 4 with most of the gems and the Avengers will just be shattered. So even if he doesn't wind up finding the gem here, he finds out where it is and destroys this entire fortress. So that's why you see all this wreckage here. You may have spotted the Arrested Development Easter egg. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of jokes in here too. It's going to be really serious because of the subject matter, but there will be plenty of funny Easter eggs. So the Russos directed Arrested Development, so naturally they worked some of that into the movie itself. In the background here, you can see that the Collector has collected Tobias while he's turned himself into one of the people from Blue Man Group. If you don't remember that, it's probably one of the funniest scenes from Arrested Development. But just expect a lot more of that during Infinity War, like little Easter eggs, probably some cameos from people that were in Community while the Russos were still directing that. The really big stuff that's missing from this is all the Iron Man, Spider-Man scenes. They sort of come as a package, but we get to see Spider-Man's Spidey sense for the first time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Technically, he didn't have it during Spider-Man Homecoming. We get to see the new versions of their suits, but we finally get to see Winter Soldier thawed out in Wakanda. Remains to be seen who they're going to be fighting, but I guess it's going to be Black Dwarf, just because he's so ferocious. He's such a brawler, and that's kind of who Black Panther is, so it makes sense that they would pair them up. Then there's also footage of Ebony Maw coming for Doctor Strange to get the Time Gem, which is also an Easter egg for the Infinity Arc. And we haven't talked about it in a while, but remember Nebula explained what their upbringing was like? The children of Thanos were forced to fight each other, so she and Gamora would get body parts replaced to make them stronger if they lost any of the fights. But the thing is that we didn't learn about the other children. The other children that they grew up with are the Black Order of this movie. So if you've read the comics, you know that they come from a different place, and they didn't debut till much, much later after the Thanos Quest Infinity Gauntlet storyline. So they're sort of mixing and matching the modern stuff and the classic stuff, just to give Thanos his own dark version of the Avengers. But even though they've tweaked their origin, they're pretty accurate to what their abilities are, what their powers are. If you saw the Comic-Con trailer, then you'll probably recognize a lot of these scenes. So it looks like the official trailer will be a slightly bigger version of the Comic-Con trailer with better footage. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about all this? What's your favorite moment? And what other Easter eggs are you hoping to find? Obviously, there's going to be a bunch of Easter eggs for Thanos' quest, but as you can see, they work in Arrested Development Easter eggs, so it's going to go beyond the Marvel Universe. But as far as I know, the official trailer is supposed to drop next week, so whenever that happens, or if it drops early, I'll totally do a video for it, but leave all your bonus video requests in the comments below. I'll probably do more videos for the Black Order once we get better footage of them, and then we can talk about the timeline between the Thor Ragnarok post-credit scene where Thanos' ship shows up, and then what's happening during this trailer. But there's a new round of the IMAX ticket giveaway. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff coming out, it's just for any movie that you want. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. I'll announce a new winner when I post new Marvel. And while you wait for everything, you can click here for that brand new Black Panther trailer, and you can click here for the trailer for the big 4-way crossover. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.
But as you can see, I'm here in San Francisco on the set of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is really cool because Marvel's pretty tight-lipped about this kind of thing, but they've allowed me to be in the suit on set filming and answering your questions. It's a way of saying thank you for supporting such an amazing cause and helping our friends with autism get the schools and services they need. So I've been given a stack of letters, and I'm here to answer all of your questions, as much as I can anyway. We know how Marvel is about spoilers. You know, this is pretty cool. Not many people have seen the suit, and they change them with every Marvel film, but you know, it's still kind of in keeping with the first one. Paul, what does slap the bass mean? Yours, Alex. It means slapping the bass. It means slapping a bass. Some people play with a pick. Some people, you know, use their fingers, and other people just use their thumb for the string, and that's where you get slap the bass. Are there any, like, did anybody read these beforehand? Kind of. Paul, can you say slap the bass, man? Yeah, sure, Rich. Slap the bass, man. Trying to keep this next one. Paul, I love the first. Yes, I love the first Ant-Man. I was wondering, is there going to be a scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp where you slap the bass? Sincerely, Thomas. Fuck you, Thomas. Yeah, sure, totally. There's absolutely a scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp where I say slap the bass.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We got a whole bunch of Marvel stuff to break down from all over the universe. This is obviously him just teasing the new suit, just having a little bit of fun. But if you are finding me for the first time, I do Marvel every week, so be sure to subscribe to get everything because there's a bunch of Infinity War that's getting ready to drop. I'm also doing a weekly ticket giveaway too. I'll explain at the end of the video. I'm assuming most of you probably understood the double entendre of slapping the bass. It's just a little bit of Deadpool level trolling with double entendres. So if you didn't know what slapping the bass means, it's from that movie I Love You, Man. He just goes off with his friend and says that they spend a lot of time slapping the bass. So that's where you get to the double entendre dick joke of it all. But they do let him show off some new elements from the costume without actually giving away big plot spoilers. So there's just a lot of stuff like this that's going to be happening around the other movies that they're shooting in between the Infinity War movies. You know, technically the second Infinity War movie is going to be called something different. But we got a whole bunch of stuff to break down, and there's Ant-Man and the Wasp stuff, which he's bouncing back and forth between. Like right here, he's actually on the set of that movie. They're also filming that while they're filming the fourth Avengers film. So the stars are bouncing back and forth in between those. So obviously not everybody from Ant-Man and the Wasp is going to be in the fourth Avengers film. Really the biggest change they're making to his suit are tweaks to the helmet, the system that allows him to become Giant Man or Ant-Man. But the big thing here, obviously you saw that big teaser poster, is that he's going to be spending most of his time as Giant Man. The real hype is going to be around Evangeline Lilly's Wasp character kicking ass, so she's the one that's going to be spending most of her time shrinking. But just to be clear, she's not going to be in Infinity War, I think because they want to show her off for the first time with the new suit in Ant-Man and the Wasp, then she'll be in the fourth Avengers film. The other big thing that's happening between these movies besides Captain Marvel stuff, because we just found out that we actually got Captain Marvel, the original version of the character, is that Ant-Man and the Wasp are going to rescue Janet Van Dyne, the original version of the Wasp, from the quantum realm. They made a big thing about it at Comic-Con. Maybe you saw it, there was a clip with Michael Pena and Paul Rudd's characters explaining the history of the Marvel Universe to Janet Van Dyne, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, so I'll talk about her in a second. I'll play that clip, but just be prepared. It's a little shaky cam, so it's kind of janky, but here it is. It's just a really quick clip.
I'll start. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, all right? This is everything you need to know. And by the way, we're like the perfect guys to say it because we know everything about it. We're going to run it by you. Okay, so it all starts.
So that'll happen after the first Infinity War film. So obviously that means that Ant-Man is going to survive the events of Infinity War. But I think we obviously knew that because Ant-Man and the Wasp was taking place after the first Infinity War film. So he would have had to survive no matter what. But if there was any question, yes, he is in Infinity War. He shares a lot of scenes with Doctor Strange. And the characters kind of move around a little bit. So you have like the different pockets, like, you know, they released this trailer with the different groups of characters shaded by some of the different Infinity Gems by color, just letting you know which Infinity Gem their group would be protecting. So like Vision has the Mind Gem, and it's being shaded from Thanos' gauntlet onto his group with Scarlet Witch. You have the bearded version of Captain America. You have the blonde Black Widow. We even got some high-res screen caps of Proxima Midnight with finished CG. This is actually what it looks like. Somebody was posting these online a while ago. It was crazy. So this is genuinely screen grabbed out of the Infinity War trailer that they're cutting right now. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, it sounds like what's going to happen is this will post right before Star Wars The Last Jedi, but that's still in rumor mode. So just be prepared for it to drop anytime in the 2-week period before Star Wars drops. But I think if it's going to drop around Star Wars, it'll happen before, not after. So in the grand scheme of things, Ant-Man in Infinity War will be a really interesting proposition. I think he's good for heist-related stuff, but otherwise, he's not going to be that powerful against some of the Black Order. Like, Giant Man is really badass, but as you saw during Civil War, even Spider-Man was able to help take him down Empire Strikes Back style. So he's not Vision level powerful, but I'll be interested to see if he's going to be paired with Doctor Strange, what he'll be doing. But that might have something to do with a tee-up for the quantum realm, which is sort of like a different dimension, because Doctor Strange travels through different dimensions into getting Janet Van Dyne back. So I think however briefly he's in Infinity War, they'll just tease some big concepts that they'll pay off during Ant-Man and the Wasp. Think about the way they used Doctor Strange during Thor Ragnarok. He was an important part of that movie, but it wound up being a relatively small thing, and it was mostly comedy. Like, they just had a couple funny moments with him, some Portal-related comedy. Probably one of the best funny random moments in the movie, so I'm just expecting them to do that kind of stuff with Ant-Man and Doctor Strange during Infinity War. I do have a separate Captain Marvel video that I'm working on, but that won't post till a little bit later. I'm expecting them to use him in a mixture of Steve Trevor, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern scenario, whereby you get a lot of the classic Captain Marvel arc from the comics. If you haven't read classic Captain Marvel, there's an interesting transition from Captain Marvel to Miss Marvel. So I know it's a little confusing because of the different versions of Captain Marvel's character, but I'll try to explain that when I post that video later this week. There are some other trailers that I'm expecting in December, like some more Deadpool 2, but there's some TV stuff happening, like the Titans TV show. But congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Origins. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. Click here for the new Black Panther trailer, and click here for the new 4-way crossover trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.
Before creation itself, there were 6 singularities. Forged into infinity stones.
Hey everybody, so Thor Ragnarok is out. Hopefully you've had a chance to see it. I've gotten so many questions about where all the Infinity Stones are, where the Soul Stone is, so that's what this video is going to be about. So just careful for Thor Ragnarok spoilers if you haven't seen the movie yet. If you are finding me for the first time, be sure to subscribe to get everything, because there's a whole bunch of Infinity War coming before the end of the year, and there's giveaway stuff that I'll explain at the end of the video too. People were like, oh man, is the Soul Stone going to show up during this? There were so many theories about where it would pop up. I thought it might even be inside Thor's hammer, but surprise, surprise, there was no Soul Stone to be found. So people were like, oh, there's no Infinity Stone. But you have to remember that the Tesseract was in Odin's vault. The Tesseract is the Space Stone. So there was an Infinity Stone in Thor Ragnarok. And because it seemed like Thanos was in one of those post-credit scenes, it's like he's coming to collect the first stone that we ever saw in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've already done my post-credit scene video. I'll link that at the end of this. But since I've made that, Kevin Feige has publicly come out and clarified what that ship was. He says, we call it the Sanctuary 2. If that name doesn't sound familiar to you and you're not freaking out, Sanctuary is the location of Thanos' home base inside the Black Quadrant. Like, you look at this subtitle here for Guardians of the Galaxy, it says Sanctuary. In the comics, he has a giant spaceship. It looks like this. I mean, he's had a bunch of different versions of it. There's no official name to it. So without being super on the nose about it, he's saying, yeah, that's pretty much Thanos. That's the ship you'll probably see him in at the beginning of Infinity War, even though if you've seen that Comic-Con footage, he's in a slightly different ship and he sort of portals in when you see him in the scenes fighting Avengers. but that's because he has the Space Stone. And the important thing to remember, if you have seen that Comic-Con footage, is that when he's wielding the gauntlet, using it against the Avengers, like he hucks a piece of meteorite at the Avengers, like he rips it off of a moon and throws it at them. The gauntlet that he's wearing doesn't have all the stones in it, so it's possible that he doesn't assemble all 6 stones before the end of Infinity War. They might actually legit save the Soul Stone for Avengers 4, because one of the big differences between Infinity War and Avengers 4 is that in Avengers 4, Captain Marvel will be joining the fight, and although they're going to change her backstory a little bit, there's always the possibility they could tie her powers to an Infinity Stone, although the Soul Stone is a little bit different from Captain Marvel's powers in the comics. Her main claim to fame is that she can absorb pretty much any type of energy and redirect it. If she absorbs enough energy, she can assume her binary form, which sort of empowers her with a version of the Phoenix Force. Like she just has this crazy cosmic level ability. She's not quite as powerful as the Phoenix, but binary form Captain Marvel is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe, which is why Kevin Feige has been hyping her up so much. So if we don't see that during the Captain Marvel solo film, we'll probably see binary form Captain Marvel during Avengers 4 when she's fighting Thanos. But just running down the list so far, the Tesseract, at the end of Thor Ragnarok, we see Loki steal it from Odin's vault, pocket it, and then we get that post-credit scene. We saw Loki with the Tesseract on planet Earth during the Infinity War trailer at Comic-Con, meaning that either he jumps away before Thanos can get to them, or he uses that to get his people away, because we see Thor faceplant on the Milano. So at some point he's floating through the vacuum of space, but I think the idea is that Thanos tries to take the gem from him. Thor tries to fight him off because he's unlocked his Thor force by the end of the movie. Thanos still pounds him like a rag doll, and you see him floating in space until he hits the Milano. But the next gem, the Aether, the Reality Stone, was last seen with the Collector. Just assume if you haven't seen one of the Infinity Stones since it was last given to someone, assume that that person still has it. So obviously the Mind Stone is still on Vision's forehead, the Power Stone is still with the Nova Corps, the Time Stone is in the Eye of Agamotto, currently being worn around Doctor Strange's neck during Thor Ragnarok. I've been falling for 30 minutes. I know it seemed like they gave him a major power upgrade with the way he was able to one-up Loki, even though Loki has magic in the way that Doctor Strange has magic. He calls him a sorcerer and charges him with those knives. They were mostly doing that for comedy, but it'd be interesting to see them actually try to weave spells against one another. But if you assume that both Loki and Doctor Strange are wielding Infinity Gems, then they would probably be relatively evenly matched. But I think for the most part, the idea is that Doctor Strange is the most powerful magic user on the planet right now. But from the looks of it, we see no Soul Stone to be found. And the thing about the stones is that they're typically hidden inside other objects in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So on the off chance that they do include the Soul Stone in Black Panther, there are a number of ways they could weave that into the logic and the lore of Wakanda. Like they have something called the Dajalia, which is sort of like an astral plane where souls go when you die. It's an actual place that you can travel to. When you see Black Panther against the purple sky in this area here in the trailer, that's where he is. Like he's getting ready to talk to his father, the spirit of his father. They could use that as a version of the Soul Stone because within the Soul Stone is contained this special realm. So the ideas of the afterlife, Soul Stones, is very endemic to the Black Panther character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But because you typically find stones inside of other things in the movies, they could tie it to the vibranium. If it wasn't clear, Wakanda's vibranium is taken from a meteorite that crashed there thousands of years ago. So they've been using it, it's been leaching into the soil, that's where you get the heart-shaped herb from. So Black Panther gets a lot of his special abilities because a lot of these plants have been growing in vibranium-tainted soil for this whole time. The meteorite itself is called the Menengai. They don't know where it came from, they only know it's alien in origin, so it's always possible that the Soul Stone could have been inside that meteorite. But I think it's more likely that they'll just save the Soul Stone for Infinity War in Avengers 4, and we won't see any Infinity Stone inside Black Panther. Vibranium by itself is powerful enough to be really special. In the Black Panther movie, looks so unique, it just demands your attention in a way that the other movies haven't in a little while. So honestly, I don't think that they need an Infinity Stone to get people's asses into the theater to see the movie. Like usually when you hear there's going to be an Infinity Stone, you get really excited. That's become less and less of a thing in the last couple of movies. Like Spider-Man Homecoming, they had the brand new suit people were excited to see. Then they unfurled a whole new one at the end of the movie. No Infinity Stone to be found. So we know that Avengers Infinity War is going to be sort of a 70s style heist movie with Thanos going around taking the gems from the Avengers with the help of the Black Order. But given the way they've been treating all the Infinity Stones for the last couple of movies, it just feels like they're going to save all of the Soul Stone stuff for those two movies. But let me know in the comments, do you think that they will actually save the Soul Stone for Infinity War, given that Thanos does not have all of the stones in the Infinity Gauntlet when he's fighting the Avengers in that trailer that we've seen already? The whole idea, and they've since confirmed this, is that there will be a bunch of Avengers Thanos follow-up. It's just that the first part of Infinity War is going to be the heist movie. Avengers 4 will be more of like the legit Thanos Infinity Gauntlet saga, where you see him actually using it to change things about the universe. So what'll happen is I'll post my Easter egg video next. That should be up later tonight. The Thor ticket giveaway is still going on. You can use the gift certificate for any movie that you want. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. Congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Chris Jordan. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. You can click here for that post-credit scene video, and you can click here to learn about the new Terminator-style Superman TV show. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.
We're really here today to talk about our next two movies. But we thought this would be cool to see. You want to know? Here, I'll tell you something. There have been rumors, and I'll tell you those rumors are true, that Nick Fury, Sam Jackson, is in this movie, and he plays a big part in it. And in this film, Nick Fury has two eyes.
What?
Because this film takes place before the events of Iron Man 1 and is set in the early 1990s. And I'll tell you one other thing for this crowd. It might be crickets in other places, but I think in this crowd, the villains of this will be the first MCU appearance of the Skrulls. There they are. We have amazing directors, Anna Bode and Ryan Fleck, working on it hard, and we can't wait to show you more.
We saw him sitting in a chair in Avengers. We saw him sitting in a chair in Guardians. We saw him kind of putting on a glove, and it was time. And I always said, the next time we show anything about Thanos, he's going to be standing up.
Hey everybody, so they just made some really big announcements about Captain Marvel, the Avengers movies, and Phase 4 villains, and what's going to be happening after Thanos. So I wanted to do a video for that. The Thor ticket giveaway is still going on. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. I'll name a new winner at the end of this. So you all heard Kevin Feige teasing what's going on with the Skrulls in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're going to be the big bad of the Captain Marvel movie first, and there's an important reason for why Captain Marvel is getting her movie between the big Avengers sequels. So you have Infinity War, Thanos, the Black Order assembling the gems into the gauntlet. Then as he said in that teaser, Captain Marvel will take place back in the 90s, so you'll like literally get a big flashback movie that'll explain her origin story, how her powers work, what they changed about it. It's largely going to be